present Suzanne Alexander, Cedric Dervilliers, and Spencer Dykes, and we're here to talk about plyometrics. Plyometrics essentially exploits the power equation, which is equal to amount of work, force times distance, done over a set period of time. In plyometrics, the goal is to perform exercises very rapidly in order to generate more power over a reduced amount of time. This was coined by Yuri Verkhoshansky in the late 1950s to 1960s, when he essentially took cell use research on the general adaptation syndrome, the stress response portion of it particularly, and applied it to training Russian athletes through what he called the shock method, which generates force through gravitational acceleration up and down as well as vertical displacement, creating a greater amount of distance for the same period of time as regular sprinting or jumping. Olympian Fred Wilt, an American, observed the Russian athletes performing these drills and coined the term plyometrics to describe the particular functions. It's noted that the Russians managed to produce several world champions during Dr. Verkhoshansky's active time as a trainer for the Soviet Union.
There are, as you can see, there are 3 pre-jump muscle load phases that precede the actual jump, and the first is being eccentric. And during the eccentric contraction, there's a muscle pre-stretch, which allows for elastic energy to be stored in the elastic components of the muscle. And the next is amortization phase, and this is a crucial phase because this is where all that stored energy that was in the eccentric contraction, this is where the stored energy is actually transferred into the concentric portion of the load. As you can see here, there's the photo. You can see during the eccentric, where the person is during their squat, they are bending down. This is where the muscle elongation happens, and where the elastic energy is stored. This is the amortization phase. It's a very quick phase, very short. And because you want it to be short, because that's where all the power switch with the power, as you saw Suzanne before earlier with the equation. The faster the time, the more power that you're going to have with your full-on contraction. There's obviously physiological demand and adaptations with plyometric exercise, and musculoskeletal. It's mainly type 2 fibers that are utilized during this kind of exercise, and that's because type 2 fibers, they don't have as much mitochondria. They are not as aerobically capacitated as for type 2, and this is for more power instead of aerobic capacity. The micro tears in the muscle fibers and sarcomere and the sarcolemma, which those lead to adaptations later. Z-line streaming is when the Z-lines in type 2 fibers are more narrow, and they're actually weaker in type 2 fibers than type 1 fibers, and therefore the stronger sarcomeres in these, they pull apart the weaker ones, which create the Z-line streaming. And the elastic force is, again, in the eccentric phase, that's where all the eccentric components of the muscle are all being stretched out and prior to the actual jump. And in the neural adaptations, they have the motor unit recruitment, and that's as you continue to do the plyometric exercise, there's the motor unit recruits more and more muscle fibers to perform the action. The discharge rate is quicker. The action potential that travels down from the axon to the individual actual muscle fibers, that actually increases. And the increased voluntary contraction is also another thing that increases due to the increased motor unit recruitment. And as you can see here, this is taken from a study from Macalusa et al. And this is after, well, this first picture A is a normal sarcomere, no damage, no disruption, everything's like just regular resting sarcomere. And these other 3 are taken 3 days after a plyometric exercise session. And as you can see in this second picture here, this is you can see the Z-line streaming here, along with where the Z-line is starting to stream. In picture C, you can see the swollen mitochondria here, and here. And you can't actually see any of the mitochondria or the streams after this during the preparatory phase after the plyometric exercise.
For scientific evidence supporting that plyometric training actually works, we found a research article that discussed the effects of plyometric training versus sprint training on improving sprint performance, in which the researchers found that for the plyometric group, significant decreases in time deferred, whereas improvements in the sprint group were not significant. Now, what these researchers did was have two training groups in which one group practiced plyometric training while the other one participated in sprint training. And what they found is that during the 10-meter sprint, the plyometric group decreased their time by 0.05 seconds, while sprint training only decreased their time by 0.02 seconds. They also timed these participants in the 40-meter sprint, where results were similar. For the plyometric group, they decreased their time by 0.1 seconds compared to 0.04 seconds in the sprint group. Even though plyometric training can be very beneficial for producing power and improving power, it can also be very harmful. The main potential harm is large joint reaction forces generated on landing, which is just the shock waves that go through your body and hit your joints upon landing. Now, one way to combat this is to, instead of practicing plyometric exercises on cement and hard surfaces, is to practice them in a gym on foam padding, or practice them in the grass where your joints aren't going to absorb as much force. Another thing about plyometric exercises is that it requires a large amount of intensity to properly initiate these exercises and get results. So, in order to do this, you need to have a high level of fitness and also be under proper supervision while performing these exercises. And of course, you can overuse and overtrain them without proper rest, and of course, there's this plain stupidity, which can be shown in this video. So if you're doing plyometric exercises, know your limits before you do something. Now, while researching plyometrics, we found another form of plyometrics we refer to as aquatic plyometrics. Pretty much just practicing them in a pool, practicing them on the beach. They both have similar aspects. They both focus on gaining power through jumping exercises. However, the main difference between these two is that in aquatic plyometrics, the amortization phase is slower, which causes a more focus on increasing muscular strength rather than muscular power, which is the main focus of plyometric exercise.